Up to the last lecture, that means up to the lecture 13, we have seen the behavior of the electrostatic fields in free space. The electrostatic fields can also exist in material medium. That means it can propagate, that means the electrostatic fields can propagate through the material medium also. So, from this lecture, we are going to understand the behavior of the electrostatic fields in different material medium. So, let us start the electrostatic fields in material medium. Here, the first point, as I said, just like the electrostatic field exists in free space due to electric charge particle, it can also exist in material medium. Here, we are going to review some points about the material. After that, we are going to discuss the behavior of the electrostatic fields in different material medium. That discussion we will see in the next lectures. So, here according to the electric property, the materials are broadly classified as the conductors and non-conductors. Mainly the non-conducting materials are generally known as the insulators, or it is also known as the dielectrics. So, here some electrical properties of the conductors and the dielectrics we are going to see. The electrical properties of the conductors like conductivity, electric current, that we are going to see here, and the electrical properties of the dielectrics, that is susceptibility, permittivity, homogeneity, dielectric strength, relaxation time, polarization. All these properties we will study in the next lecture. Mainly in this lecture, we are going to focus on the conductivity and the electric current. So, let us review first some properties of the material. 2 or 3 points here we want to review, and that is familiar to you. So, first point is the conductivity of the material, which is usually dependent on the temperature and the frequency of the signal. Now, a material with high conductivity, that means sigma, which is representing the conductivity, if the conductivity is very high, that is sigma is very greater than 1, then the material is referred to as metal. Whereas, if the conductivity of the material is very less, that means the sigma is very less than 1, then we can refer to that material as the insulator or the dielectric. But there is other material whose conductivity lies somewhere between those of the metals and the insulators, and we know these materials are called the semiconductors. But here we are not considering the semiconductors, we are going to consider the conductor and the dielectrics, and we are going to see the behavior of the electrostatic fields when it propagates through the conductor and the dielectric medium. The fourth point, which says the conductivity of the of metals generally increases with the decrease in temperature, and we can understand by an example that at absolute temperature some conductors exhibit infinite conductivity and are called superconductors, and the example you can take the aluminum. So, in this temperature, absolute temperature 0 Kelvin, the aluminum almost shows the superconductivity. Now we will concentrate only on metals and insulators here. So macroscopically, the major difference between a metal and the insulator lies in the number of free electrons that we know available for the conduction of current. And in the case of dielectric materials, we have few electrons which is available for the conduction, whereas the metals have the abundance of the free electrons. That is the basic difference between the metals or the conductors and the non-conductors or the dielectrics. So first, here we are going to see that the two fundamental electrical properties, that is electric voltage or the potential difference and the current. And the potential difference we have studied earlier in details. So the potential difference or the voltage difference which we have seen earlier, that we are not going to discuss in this lecture, but we are going to discuss elaborately this current portion. So before going to study how the electric field behaves in a conductor or dielectric, let us understand the electric current. And we know that the current is generally caused by the motion of free electrons or charge, that we know. And according to the definition, we can say the current through a given area. Current through a given area is the electric charge passing through the area per unit time, or mathematically we can write I, that is the current, equals to dq by dt. That is known to us. Now, as an example, if you say that the current is 1 ampere, what is the meaning of that? That means the charge is being transferred at a rate of 1 coulomb per second. Now, let us see the current density J. Current density J. So, we know the current, the definition of the current, that is I equals to dq by dt. Now, from that we can find out the current density. Now, suppose we have the variation of the current or the del I current flows through a plane surface del S. Then the density, current density can be calculated easily, can be represented easily. J, which is the current density, equals to del I by del S, or del I equals to J dot J del S. Now, this expression we can consider if the current density is, now if the current density is perpendicular to the surface, generally we will consider if the current density, that is current density is a vector. So if this vector is perpendicular to the surface through which the charge is passing, then this del I can be written as J dot an ds. Here n is the unit normal vector which is also directed or parallel to the surface area, perpendicular to the surface area. So that del I can be written as equals to J dot an ds, or simply we can write del I equals to J dot ds. So as we have the variation of the current or small change in the current, so the total current flowing through the surface S can be written as I equals to the surface integral of J dot ds. That is important. Now, depending on how the current is produced, there are different kind of current density. That is important, we are going to discuss here. One is the convection current density, the other one is the conduction current density, and the third one is the displacement current density. The conduction current density is more or less is known to us. Whatever the electricity we see here in our daily life, that is the conduction current, or and this conduction current we can get from the conduction current density. The new term here is the convection current density and the displacement current density. Now, here we are going to consider only the convection current density and the conduction current density. The displacement current density we will discuss later on when we will study the electromagnetic fields. So, mainly we are going to consider here the convection current density and the conduction current density. But the main thing here we need to remember always that the expression 8.4, that is I equals to surface integral of J dot ds, can be applied to any kind of current density. It may be the convection current density, it may be the conduction current density, it may be the displacement current density. If we can express these three current density, then we can find out the current by using the expression 8.4, that is I equals to surface integral of J dot ds. So here our aim is to find out the current density, whether it may be the convection current density or the conduction current density. Now, if we compare this equation 8.4, that is I equals to surface integral of J dot ds, with the general definition of the flux. And what is the general definition of the flux? That is psi, total flux psi equals to surface integral of E dot dl. So we can say that this 8.4 is nothing but the flux of current density, the flux of current density. So now we are going to see the convection current. Now the convection current is different from the conduction current, and the convection current does not involve any conductor, and consequently when it is not involving any conductor through which the current convection current is not flowing, so we can say it does not satisfy the Ohm's law, that is V equals to IR. So the convection current occurs when the current flows through an insulating medium, such as medium, example the liquid or the rarefied gas. Now what is the rarefied gas? The gas whose pressure is much less than the atmospheric pressure is called the rarefied gas. So it occurs, that means the convection current occurs when the current flows through an insulating medium such as liquid, rarefied gas or a vacuum. Now we can take a simple example to visualize the convection current, and the example is the CRT or the cathode ray tube. You know, in the cathode ray tube, the electric beam will flow from the anode to the screen or the cathode to the screen. So this flow of electron, we can say the flow of electron can be considered as the flow of current, and this flow of charge or electron is flowing through the vacuum, and that is the example of the convection current, we can say. Now let us derive the expression of the convection current density. For that, here we have considered a rectangular box as a filament, rectangular box, and here in this box we are going to consider that the current or the charge is flowing in the direction of y, that is the coordinate system. You can see that xyz Cartesian coordinate system, and the charge is moving or flowing whose velocity is u, and the charge density is rho v, volume charge density. As we have considered the velocity is u, it is a vector, so we can consider u equals to uy ay because it is flowing along the y direction. So this u has one magnitude, that is why the y component we have considered, and obviously the unit vector will be along the y direction, that is ay. So u vector u is equals to uy ay. Then from equation 8.1, that is I equals to dq by dt, you see that I equals to dq by dt, the current element we can find out. Here you see that del I equals to dq or del I equals to del q by del t. Now del q we can find out from this filament. Del q means the total charge enclosed by this volume. So this is the surface area del s, and this is the length. So from that we can, if we multiply del s and del y, we can get the volume, total volume, and the charge density we know the rho v. So if we multiply charge density rho v with this volume, we can get the dq, the total charge enclosed by this volume. So we can find out dq or del q equals to rho v del s del y and del t as it is divided by del t. Now you see that rho v del s And here you can see the del y, that is the variation or the displacement in the direction of y, and it is the time del t. So that can be considered as the velocity displacement by time. So that is will be along the direction of y. So from that we can say del I equals to rho v del s uy. Now we know the current density at a particular given point is the current through an unit normal area at that point. So obviously we know the current density, the mathematics we know jy. Why it is taken jy? Because we have considered the charge is flowing in the y direction. So jy will be equals to the variation of the current, that is del I divided by del s, and del I we have seen rho v del s uy divided by del s. So cancelled out del s, we got rho v uy, and it is the current density along the y direction. But this current can flow in any direction. So in general the vector will be j equals to rho v into u. So that is the mathematical expression of the convection current density. Now as we got the convection current density in equation 8.7, we can easily find out the current, convection current, using the expression 8.4, that is I equals to surface integral of j dot ds. Here g equals to rho v into u. So here I have written that one. The current I is the convection current and j is the convection current density in ampere per meter square. Now that is all about the convection current density. As we have seen the convection current density, and using 8.4, equation 8.4, we can calculate the convection current. Now we are going to see the conduction current, that is known to us, conduction current. At least we know what is the conduction current. Now the first point is that conduction current requires a conductor, that is fine. Now a conductor is characterized by the large number of free electrons that provide the conduction current due to an applied electric field, that we know. Due to the abundance of the free charges in the conductor, if we apply the electric field, the charge will flow and we will get the current. And as the charge is flowing through the conductor, that is why it is the conduction current. We know when an electric field E is applied to the charge, to an electron or to a charge, the force on an electron with charge minus E, the electron having the charge minus E, and when we are applying the electric field E on that charge, then the force on that electron will be F equals to, we have seen QE, so here Q equals to minus E, so F equals to minus E into E, capital E, that is the applied electric field. Now here the electrons are not in the free space, so the electrons will not experience an average acceleration under the influence of the electric field. Rather, it suffers constant collision within the atom lattice and drifts from one atom to another. Here one point I want to tell you, that in analog electronics or in basic electronics, the term you have seen or you have heard, that is the drift velocity or drifting of the electron. So when in the conductor applied electric field is applied, the electrons cannot move freely. It will drift from one atom to one atom lattice to another atom lattice. So that from this drifting, for this drifting we will get the drifting current or drift current. So that is one example, so that you can correlate that what is the drift. Now if we consider an electron which is having the mass small m, and it is moving in an electric field E with an average drift velocity u. Here we are considering the electron which is having the mass m, and due to the applied electric field it is moving through the conductor and its drift velocity is u. So according to the Newton's law, the average change in the momentum of the free electrons must be equal to the applied force. So here the momentum, average change in the momentum, you see that m is the that is the mass velocity divided by tau. Tau is the average time interval between collisions, that means the time. So that is the average change in the momentum, which will be equals to the applied force F. So here F equals to minus E capital E. So from that we can find out the expression U, that is the velocity U of the electron which is flowing through the conductor. So U equals to minus E tau by small m into E. Now from this expression 8.2 we can see that the U, the velocity of the charge, is dependent only on the applied electric field, because E is constant, tau we are considering constant, and mass is constant. So U is proportional to E. So if we increase applied electric field, the velocity of the charge will increase. If we decrease the applied electric field, then the velocity of the charge or the electron will decrease. And that is written here. This indicates that the drift velocity of an electron is directly proportional to the applied field. Now, if there are n number of electrons per unit volume, so there is a volume we have considered. On that volume, the charge is del Q we have considered. So here now we are going to consider the unit volume, and on that unit volume n number of electrons is present. So the electric charge density can be calculated rho v equals to minus Ne, because n into minus E will be the charge density. So now we know the, from the expression conduction current density J, we are having J equals to rho v into U, that we have seen for the case of convection current, but here also we are going to consider the conduction current density J, that is equals to rho v into U. Now rho v, that is equals to minus Ne, and U we have seen earlier, that is U equals to minus E tau by m into capital E. So minus minus plus, so here we got the expression n e square tau by m into capital E, which can be written as sigma E. So ultimately what we are going to get is that J equals to sigma E. So here this is the actual expression, or the conduction current density J, that is equals to sigma E. So for the convection current, the current density J equals to rho v into U. For the case of the conduction current density, J will be equals to sigma E, and where the sigma is the conductivity, and that can be written as n e square tau by m. So that is the conductivity, and we know, if we know the conductivity, from that we can get the resistivity. So that we will see afterward. So this relationship 8.12 is known as the point form of Ohm's law. That is important. This equation J equals to sigma is called the point form of the Ohm's law. Here you see that J can be replaced by I, because it is the current density, equals to, here is the conductivity, E can be replaced by V. So I equals to sigma V, or V equals to 1 by sigma means rho R. So V equals to IR, from that we can get. So that is all about the today's class, students. In the next class we will continue this topic, that is the behavior of the electrostatic field in a conductor. After that we will study the properties of the dielectric material or dielectrics. Then we will study the behavior of the electrostatic field in dielectric material. Thank you very much.